The president visiting Boeing's plant, holding a roundtable with Missouri businesses earlier today. Boeing's CEO has praised the Republican tax cuts as, quote, the biggest thing we could do to unleash economic energy in America. Boeing investing $300 million in jobs, factories, worker training. The businesses at that roundtable talked a lot about bonuses and jobs due to the Republican tax cuts, reporting that back to the president. This is Americans for Prosperity running another round of attack ads against a state Democrat, the senator there, Kayleigh McEnany, for not supporting the Republican tax cuts. Let's take another check of Boeing. The stock down more than 2% today since the import tariffs on steel and aluminum were announced about 2 weeks ago. Boeing is down 8.8%. It has shaved 220 points off the Dow. It sits in the crosshairs of a trade war. That's what Wall Street is saying. Boeing is the biggest loser by far in the blue chip index since those tariffs were announced. But watch this, without Boeing and Goldman Sachs, the Dow will be flat this year. Let's bring in RNC spokesperson Kayleigh McEnany. Good to see you, Kayleigh.
Good to see you too, Liz.
So President really taking it to Kayleigh McEnany today, a day after he took it to Jerry Brown in California. What's your take?
Yeah, this is important. This is so key for the midterms. Kayleigh McEnany, Heidi Heitkamp, Joe Donnelly, Joe Manchin, these so-called moderate Democrats who won't vote for the American people to keep more of their money. It's important to say their names over and over because these are the vulnerable Senate Democrats that we can beat this November and put Republicans in their place and close that 9 gap of Senate votes that we need to break a filibuster. This is important and it's key.
Kayleigh, President Trump has been teasing about a phase 2 of tax cuts. Let's watch.
We're now going for a phase 2. We're actually going for a phase 2, which will help, in addition to the middle class, will help companies, and it's going to be something I think very special. Kevin Brady's working on it with me. Congress is working. The Senate's working. And unfortunately, on the original, we didn't have one Democrat vote.
It's about tax cuts to boost retirement savings. Kevin Brady basically said that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, tax cuts do boost retirement savings.
But is this a new tax cut that would help more people save more in retirement?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. I think that's key. That's definitely what they're looking at. It's really important to sustain our future and the future of everyday Americans, men and women. You saw that one woman at Boeing say, I took that bonus I got from my company and I put it towards my retirement. She almost had tears in her eyes. So, yes, this is absolutely what they're looking at. And Democrats would be wise to get on board. They didn't get on board with the first round of crumbs. As Nancy Pelosi said, they should get on board with the second.
You know, you just made news there. It looks like retirement savings is what's key in the phase 2 tax cuts. Really interesting stuff. And you make an important point about Democrats there. The savings have been an issue for Americans nationwide for some time. Let's get to the Business Roundtable. Survey there, Kayleigh, shows CEO optimism at the highest it's been in the 15 years of the survey. February small business optimism at a near record high. So again, we got to talk about those red state Democrats in the midterms. This is the Nancy Pelosi resist Trump movement. What's at stake here? What is this going to play out the way the Republicans think it's going to play out?
I think it is going to play out that way because resist is not a winning ideology. Connor Lamb, the reason he had so much success, or it seems he's going to have success in PA 18, is because he talked like a Republican. He talked about tariffs. He talked about coal. He talked about guns. He talked about issues. The resist didn't work. Issues do work. But unfortunately, in each of these primaries across the nation for Democrats, you have Our Revolution, the Bernie Sanders group, really playing their hand there. And you have radical leftists winning on this resist agenda, and that's not going to win a midterm. You
know, Larry Kudlow, the top White House economic advisor, the president adds a longtime loyalist and friend. I've been to dinners recently with Larry Kudlow, talked to me a lot about how he talked to the president about the importance of tax cuts. Doesn't like tariffs, though. Is he a good check on this a stabilizing force for the White House here? By the way, he does not have to go through a confirmation hearing.
Well, look, President Trump likes vying ideologies to play out in front of him, and he ultimately goes with his gut. President Trump is the person who shepherded tax cuts, who leveled what I think are these very smart, direct, specific tariffs. And I think someone like Larry Kudlow, he brings so much to the table, not only in terms of experience at the Office of Management and Budget, but diverse ideas, and that's important. But ultimately, the president's leading this economy and this agenda. Larry Kudlow will be a very important helping hand in that.
You know, if Larry Kudlow steps up and says, yes, targeted tariffs, and if he says yes China has been cheating. China has been stealing U.S. intellectual property, forcing U.S. companies to do 50-50 joint ventures. If they push back on that, that'd be a heck of a signal to have Larry Kudlow at the forefront of that, right, Kayleigh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be a huge signal. A free market guy, stepping up and saying, let's end this with China. It'd be a big deal.
Okay, we've got Red State Democrat Senator, another one, we haven't talked about this one yet, highlighting the bills that he supported that were backed by President Trump. We're talking about Senator Jon Tester of Montana. In his first re-election ad, he's talking about how he voted for Trump's policies. He voted for them more than half the time. Watch.
Washington's a mess, but that's not stopping me from getting bills to help Montana signed into law by President Trump. 1, reducing government waste, fraud, and abuse. 8, I'm out of fingers.
That's Jon Tester. Trump carried Montana by 21 points. Now, worth noting, Tester did not support the tax cuts. He supported a lot of the Veterans Administration bills. I mean, this midterm is about what policies that Jon Tester is talking about now. But now we got a Democrat talking about it here.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this, Liz, I've talked to several Montana radio hosts across Montana over the last few days, and they are angry at Jon Tester, and they realize those cheap words are not action. What matters is that he didn't vote for tax cuts, not on board with immigration, not on board with infrastructure. His actions matter, not his cheap words. That's why we need a Republican senator in Montana. And I can tell you the people on the ground are quite angry at their senator.